All right, this is a super 60-second podcast, which means it's longer than 60 seconds. I don't got a better name. But what you're seeing here is me drawing some of the construction roughies from the other day. What I'm using is a 100% round brush. This is sped up about 1 times the normal speed, so you're not sitting here forever. What I like to do, anytime I'm drawing a character design, a cover, anything, I like to blob in silhouettes. I've been doing this forever. It's just easier. I find it. You can use a marker if you're using traditional pencils and stuff. 10% marker, 30% marker. Back when I was a kid, I used to use Sharpies and then put tracing paper over. So I kind of started doing this in high school because I would spend a lot of time drawing like stick figures and stuff. And I would draw the stick figures. I'd spend so much time doing that I was erasing, and it just seemed easier to blob in stuff and draw into it. I'm going to go ahead and hit play here. And you can see me in real time. I'd like to turn it red, the silhouette's red, because that's just, I prefer to see in red with black over it, just my preference. And then what I do here is I'm just going to go here and draw in over the basic construction, kind of working from center. And anytime you find center for an object, you can then figure out what's closer to you, what's further away. That allows you to draw everything three-dimensionally, regardless. This method, it's not a one-to-one, so like I'm using this silhouette as a guide to kind of keep me centered on the page as well. I used to find myself drawing off pages and never being able to control where I was at too, so that's a good thing for that. Plus, you're not spending forever with the roughies trying to overdo it. Also, I keep my eraser to about 70 to 80% opacity. This is 80% opacity, so when I'm erasing, it's more like a kneaded eraser. It's not going to erase 100%. And this is the same hard round brush, just scaled down and set to about 72 opacity. And that's me giving art tips on how to draw hands using an oven mitt technique, which I learned when I was a kid from Disney artist Milt Kahl. Not personally, but just, I don't know, something he wrote once our teacher read back to us. Anyhow, so this is a process I use for everything. And then if I were going to turn this into a character, I would then, once I get this construction roughy, so I consider this the silhouette roughy, and this the construction roughy. Once that's done, I can then turn those lines down, and with another hard round brush, using one of these neon colors you see here, I use these neon colors, I'll blob in the costume details. Just blob stuff in over them. This way I can wrap around, whether it's his boots or cape or straps or buckles or guns or whatever, I can wrap that around the characters, three-dimensional, just blob those things in. Then I'll turn those, I'll duplicate that layer, fill it with white, turn the opacity down, and draw right over that stuff too. And that's how I layer up items on characters, and how you can put items on characters without spending a ton of time drawing lines you're just going to erase anyway. As well as giving that feeling that the character's wearing things three-dimensionally, as opposed to, say, you know, drawing things flatly. So this is me just kind of drawing feet and working out some of this, you know, these little lines. And then you'll see me erase this hands too long. If something's going too long at this phase, just draw it. And then when you get done, you can always use the lasso tool and compose. Digital drawing is great for composing and taking things and stretching them and moving them around. So you can see right there, I'm not spending a ton of time here. This is pretty simple. But this silhouette thing, you know, I like to do it every now and then just for fun to warm up. So I'll probably be posting more of these. People seem to like them. But this is definitely how I warm up before I start drawing, either way. And then I'll do this for an hour or two, depending on how warmed up I need to get. And then the types of characters I tend to sketch out just depend on what I'm working on. So if I'm going to work on critters, I'll sketch out little critter characters and chibis. If I got to work on action figures, in this case I was doing these before I did the Youngblood, then I will draw action figure poses. So you can see that's me finding center, right? That's going to be the center line for this character. And then her hip lines, and I'm making these legs intentionally longer than would be humanly possible. I consider these to be action figure style anatomy, which means it's fun anatomy. It's not realistic anatomy. So don't go thinking out there like, oh, Rob just didn't know how to draw a person, so like that, no one could be built like that. I know no one can be built like that. That's why I buy action figures when I was a kid, for the fucking awesomeness of it. But see how much faster this is, I feel, than drawing like a mannequin and building up shapes. that way. I never got that process when I was younger. To this day, I still don't get it. But what you do have to do, the trick, folks, is you gotta be able to see into the shapes. You gotta be able to see the head, the shoulders, so the knees, where the legs can cross over. It's very important that you can see those things in your mind's eye before you draw them. That does require practicing anatomy, so you do have an understanding of front and back anatomy. Being able to move things three-dimensionally takes a while to kind of get there, but once you get there, man, you can. Telling you can do different shape design. It becomes very fun. I'm very addicted to shape design, playing with shapes and proportions. It just really makes a lot of fun. And in some ways, it's like having your own toys. Like I sort of get a lot of I don't have to buy a ton of toys around here because I'm constantly feel like I'm drawing toys. So it's super fun. So that's the super 60-second podcast, exclusive to Facebook, probably YouTube if I ever decide to put it up on there. Just thought I'd give you guys some of my tips, things that I think about as I go. And alrighty, if you have any questions or comments, just leave them below. I will answer them. We will do some more live streams of this soon on my Twitch channel at sketchcraftlive.com. You can go right to the YouTube channel, sketchcraft.net will take you right to the YouTube, so you can go right there. I will probably just allow myself here to wrap this up so you can see like the foreshortening. See how much easier like the foreshortening would be to do here? You're not drawing. You can draw just what's in front of the character first and then work out what's behind the character. And I'm not spending a ton of time trying to figure out what that foreshortening is. You know, this is a process that I'm just so glad I discovered at a younger age. Now it's just so much easier to do it with digital and iPads and whatever else. So this kind of is not program dependent. You can do this in any program. And again, if you wanted to do it in real life with traditional materials, you can just use a 10% marker, 30% marker, draw right over it. Or you can use a Sharpie, like I used to do as a kid, Sharpie and whiteout. And then I would take a piece of tracing paper and go over that. So that's how I used to do it. All right, super 60-second podcast out for real this time. Talk to you later. Bye.